What's up, y'all? We are working, and upgrading things for you guys. And it's also going to come with some.
Our team coverage continues tonight as people are responding to the shooting and the life lost of a local businesswoman who News 10's Renee Allen learns had a vision for her life.
A local business owner, entrepreneur, tragically lost their life on social media. Condolences of prayer and peace for LuLu Carter. A business community in shock and many heartbroken by the sudden loss of 40-year-old Lerhonda LuLu Carter. Carter was known for her many ventures, including the Bliss Lounge on Jefferson Street and the French 75 Bar and Lounge on McKinley, both located in downtown Lafayette. One person referred to her as a fashionista due to her unique style. They noted she always dressed to impress, even when dressing down. A person called her business-oriented, loved travel, and God-fearing. One person even told News 10 that Carter, as a black female entrepreneur, was able to overcome numerous hurdles to successfully establish a thriving club in downtown Lafayette. One person even said that there was still so much more to come from Carter. Renee Allen, KLFY, News 10.
At 2:30 p.m. on December 30th, 2025, police in Scott, Louisiana received a distress call from the 800 block of Delhomme Avenue reporting a shooting. Responding officers found Lerhonda LuLu Carter, a 40-year-old local business owner, with gunshot wounds. Within minutes, she was rushed to a nearby hospital where she later succumbed to her injuries. Law enforcement soon identified James Michael Joseph as a suspect in the shooting and charged him with second-degree murder, while Jesse Howard Alford Jr. was arrested as an accessory after the fact. At the time of reporting, authorities had not publicly released a motive, details of any prior relationship between the victim and suspects, or what events immediately preceded the shooting. The investigation remained active, with police withholding key evidence and urging witnesses to come forward. Every case starts with evidence and ends with truth. We examine facts, not theories, details, not drama. This is Sunday Crime, where investigations speak for themselves. Subscribe now and stay updated as we uncover the facts behind every case. Lerhonda Carter, widely known by the nickname LuLu, was 40 years old at the time of her death. She was connected to the Lafayette Parish area, where she lived and worked for years prior to the shooting. Public records and community reporting identified her as a business owner with an established presence in the local nightlife and hospitality industry. Details regarding her early life, childhood, and education were not extensively released by authorities at the time of the investigation. What is known is that Carter built her professional identity as an entrepreneur through independent business ventures rather than inherited or corporate-backed enterprises. This placed her in frequent contact with employees, patrons, vendors, and other business owners across the region. Carter was associated with multiple nightlife establishments in Lafayette, including French 75 Bar and Lounge and Bliss Lounge. These venues positioned her in a highly visible segment of the local economy. As an owner and operator, her responsibilities reportedly included business management, staffing oversight, vendor coordination, and public-facing promotional activities. Her routine required frequent travel between locations, late operating hours, and regular interaction with the public. This routine created a predictable professional schedule, but also placed her in environments where disputes, disagreements, or personal conflicts could arise. Within the community, Carter was recognized as a driven businesswoman. She maintained an active presence through her establishments and was known to attend or host events tied to nightlife and entertainment. While public commentary described her as influential, law enforcement did not attribute her death to her professional role at the time of early reporting. On December 30th, 2025, Carter's movements earlier in the day were not fully disclosed by investigators. Authorities did not release a detailed hour-by-hour account of her activities leading up to the shooting. It is known that she was present in Scott, Louisiana that afternoon, a city located west of Lafayette. Investigators later focused on reconstructing her final hours using phone records, witness statements, and surveillance footage from nearby properties. These materials were not made public in full. The shooting occurred in the 800 block of Delhomme Avenue, a residential area within Scott. The specific nature of Carter's presence at that location, whether social, professional, or incidental, was not publicly clarified in initial police briefings. At approximately 2:30 p.m., emergency dispatchers received reports of a shooting. Scott Police Department officers were sent to the scene. Upon arrival, officers found Lerhonda suffering from gunshot wounds. Emergency medical services were immediately requested. Officers secured the area, established a perimeter, and began preliminary scene processing procedures. Initial observations did not include a public statement regarding forced entry, a visible altercation, or the recovery of a firearm at the scene. Police withheld many details, citing the active nature of the investigation. Carter was transported to a nearby hospital for emergency treatment. Despite medical efforts, she later died from her injuries.
Our team coverage continues tonight as people are responding to the shooting and the life lost of a local businesswoman who News 10's Renee Allen learns had a vision for her life.
A local business owner, entrepreneur, tragically lost their life on social media. Condolences of prayer and peace for LuLu Carter.
The exact time of death and number of gunshot wounds were not disclosed in early reports. Following her death, the case transitioned from an assault investigation to a homicide investigation. Investigators processed the scene for physical evidence, including shell casings, ballistic fragments, and any trace evidence that could establish shooter position and sequence of events. Crime scene technicians documented the area through photographs, measurements, and evidence logs. Nearby residences and businesses were canvassed for potential witnesses. Law enforcement also sought surveillance footage from private cameras in the vicinity. Police conducted interviews with individuals believed to be in the area at or near the time of the shooting. Authorities did not publicly confirm how many witnesses were identified or whether any provided direct accounts of the shooting itself. Within a short period after the shooting, law enforcement identified two individuals as suspects, James Michael Joseph and Jesse Howard Alfred Jr. James Michael Joseph was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, while Jesse Howard Alfred Jr. was arrested as an accessory after the fact. At the time of reporting, authorities had not publicly released a motive, details of any prior relationship between the victim and suspects, or what events immediately preceded the shooting. The investigation remained active, with police withholding key evidence and urging witnesses to come forward.
Public reporting did not specify where or how the arrests occurred, whether the suspects surrendered voluntarily, or whether additional evidence was seized at the time of arrest. Second-degree murder in Louisiana generally involves the killing of a human being with specific intent to kill or inflict great bodily harm. The charge carries severe penalties, including life imprisonment if convicted. The filing of this charge indicated that prosecutors believed sufficient evidence existed to suggest intent rather than accidental or negligent conduct. An accessory after the fact charge applies when an individual assists a person who has committed a felony, knowing that the felony occurred, and helps them avoid arrest or prosecution. The charge against Alfred suggested investigators believed assistance occurred after the shooting, rather than participation in the act itself. At no point during early press briefings did law enforcement disclose a motive for the shooting. Authorities did not confirm whether the incident stemmed from a personal dispute, domestic issue, business-related conflict, or other cause. Police did not publicly clarify whether Carter had a prior relationship with either suspect. The absence of this information left significant gaps in understanding the circumstances of the crime. Investigators did not release information regarding the type of firearm used, whether it was recovered, or whether ballistic testing linked it to a suspect. News of Carter's death spread quickly through Lafayette and surrounding communities. Her role as a business owner led to increased public attention compared to many other local homicide cases. Community members organized vigils and public gatherings in her memory. While these events reflected public reaction, they did not contribute factual details to the investigation. Law enforcement emphasized that public speculation could hinder the case and urged individuals with direct knowledge to contact authorities. Local news outlets reported on the shooting, arrests, and charges. Coverage largely relied on police statements and court records due to limited access to investigative materials. Media reporting emphasized the lack of disclosed motive and the rapid filing of charges, two elements that sustained public interest in the case. Following their arrests, both suspects were expected to appear before a judge for bond hearings and arraignments. Information regarding bond amounts or release conditions was not widely reported at the time. The case entered the pre-trial phase, during which prosecutors and defense attorneys would exchange evidence, file motions, and prepare arguments. This phase typically includes discovery requests, motions to suppress evidence, examination of forensic findings, witness list development. Key issues anticipated in court included establishing intent, clarifying the sequence of events, demonstrating the roles of each defendant, and addressing any gaps in physical evidence. Carter's killing occurred amid broader discussions about violent crime in Lafayette Parish and surrounding areas. While not unique in statistical terms, the case drew heightened attention due to the victim's public profile. The investigation followed standard homicide protocols, including scene processing, suspect identification, and coordination with prosecutors. The limited public disclosure aligned with common practices in active cases. Despite arrests and charges, several critical questions remained unresolved at the time of reporting. What events led Carter to Delhomme Avenue that afternoon? What interaction occurred immediately before the shooting? What evidence directly linked the suspects to the crime? Why was the shooting carried out? These unanswered questions remained central to the case. As the case proceeded through the legal system, further details were expected to emerge through court filings, testimony, and evidentiary disclosures. Until then, the public record remained incomplete. The killing of Lerhonda Carter stands as a documented homicide with confirmed charges, an ongoing legal process, and critical facts yet to be fully disclosed. Facts verified. Case concluded. Justice is found in what remains proven. This is Sunday Crime until the next investigation. Subscribe for more verified stories and real criminal investigations.